sync, green light, digital bleed. Clean lines, fast track, feeding the speed. No turn one chaos, just dilemma free flow. Simulated asphalt, watch the data grow. High downforce chassis, neon in the night. Blue and black flicker in the pixel light. Community, shared setup gains. LMU circuits, breaking the chains. Paddock camaraderie, digital soul. Grinding for the glory, taking control. Find a new teammate, a bond in the wire. Find a new teammate, a bond in the wire. Technological heart, burning like fire. Cleaner grid, better vibe. See you in the paddock. Grid sync, green light, digital bleed. Clean lines, fast track, feeding the speed. No turn one chaos, just dilemma free flow. Simulated asphalt, watch the data grow. High downforce chassis, neon in the night. Blue and black flicker in the pixel light. Community, shared setup gains. LMU circuits, breaking the chains. Paddock camaraderie, digital soul. Grinding for the glory, taking control. Find a new teammate, a bond in the wire. Find a new teammate, a bond in the wire. Technological heart, burning like fire. Chill. community, shared setup gains, LMU circuits, breaking the chains, paddock camaraderie, digital soul, grinding for the glory, taking control, find a new teammate, a bond in the wire. Find a new teammate, a bond in the wire. Technological heart, burning like fire. APEX and chill, holding the line with a digital skill. APEX and chill, racing for the team with a collective will. Apex chill, Apex chill, Apex chill, Apex chill, Apex and chill. Clean.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome. We are live for the Apex and Chill Racing League. It is the midweek league, and of course, we are at Fuji Speedway for tonight's endeavors. My name is Adam Reid. I'll be deputizing here for Apex and Chill. Really looking forward to getting into proceedings. We have a fantastic circuit, the 4.5 kilometer circuit of Fuji Speedway. A fantastic layout around this incredible circuit in the land of the rising sun. Mount Fuji is just a couple of kilometers away from the circuit, overlooking the final corner. But as our LMP2s and LMGT3s are out there at this moment in time on the circuit, 15 minutes of qualifying. Already ticking it down. We see there the Iron Lynx Proton car of June Quinn out there for the moment. So yeah, as I said, it is a mix of the LMP2s, the Orica 07s that are going to be out there for the moment. And of course, it's usually, of course, they're going to be upgraded to the Orica 09 for 2028. So I wonder how they're going to fare. They have this beautiful crackling sound as they head through the corners. I was lucky to attend the return of the 4 hours of Silverstone for the European Le Mans series last September. These cars are just unbelievably beautiful. If you ever get the chance, I would recommend going to that race this year in September. It is just, these cars are something else. You have to go and witness them live. So we now have a look. Looks like we've got all of our Fords on top, but of course it's just about starting, so these drivers are still out there. It has just gone past 3 p.m. In sim time. So we've still got some drivers sitting in the pit lane, some drivers still just seeing if they can get themselves acclimatized to the circuit. So it's going to be a bit of a short qualifying session for these drivers, especially after they've had such a short practice session. So it's definitely going to be something to keep an eye out for. Of course, we've had our results last time around in Interlagos. So that's going to be something that a lot of the drivers will be living off, or maybe not, because of course if you had a bad round, you'll be wanting to, you'll definitely be wanting to take that behind you, because that was been a bit of a rough one for some of our guys. Around here, one of the CLX cars out on the circuit. You can just hear the engine whirring away. Middle sector is purple. For Cash, they may now on one of the longest straights, almost a mile long, I believe, or a kilometre long. You're just now seeing how quick these cars are. Of course, the ELMS cars, which we are using tonight, are unrestricted. So usually in the World Endurance Championship, when they were in the when the LMP2 were in there, of course they had a restriction, so it would be fair classes. But of course now with these LMP2s in the European Le Mans Series, they are as quick as can be. They're maybe a second off the hypercars that they have. Meanwhile, is our first look at our LMGT3. You're seeing the Codis ASP Lexus out there. Oliver's out there at the moment. He's just sitting in 6th place. So it's the top 4 being our LMP2s. Yeah, some drivers still just needing to get themselves out the field. They're more than welcome to. But they will have a bit of a difficult session. So the circuit still gaining in temperature, still laying down the rubber on the surface. Haskins goes as fast as in the LMGT3 143.4. They make their way into the Dunlop chicane for Oliver. You can hear the V8 just whirring away. Front engine as well before then heading into this really tricky section. You're really having to balance the car on the kind of on the rumble strips as well. And of course, really choosing the perfect line, because there's multiple lines you can get through here. Now, I've been lucky to commentate Fuji in multiple the LMU franchise, as well as iRacing, and trust me, when it gets to wet conditions, this circuit just becomes hellish, especially that section. It's just about where is the grip at that rate. We now see over the line goes Oliver to go to the top on that great time that he has just posted. But we're usually into the part of the qualifying session where it really is go time. We'll have to see if these guys can just enable any form of great lap time. Now we've got Mulder on a purple sector in towards the second sector, coming up very shortly as he heads his way through that left-hander. It's a really tough section of circuit. We're just trying to see if we can get that second sector point, but it doesn't seem like that's flashing up, which is a little bit strange. We've had a 15-minute practice session, 15-minute qualifying session is now underway, and then we've got a 1 hour 15-minute race as Molds will come across the timing line. Will he go to the top? It's a 1:31.0. To the top goes Molds. A good lap time from him. And of course, he finished second the last time out as he has a spin just shortly after getting his best lap time in. So putting off a little bit of a Nico Rosberg from Monaco a couple of years ago, or a Michael Schumacher, depending on which way you want to look at that one. Just be like, well, if I put in the best lap time, I'm going to throw out a yellow, and you won't be able to improve. But he's luckily got going because, you know, you've got 8 minutes left of the session. Meanwhile, we now head to the ever-beloved Ford Mustang. This is the Proton competition Ford Mustang with the 88 on the side. It's Sam Denhaan. Makes its way out of these twisty tight corners. I'm sure these are going to be featured a lot during the race, because you'll see a couple of great moves and a couple of clumsy moves. You know, you do see that little bit of desperation coming into effect. As Hahn goes now over the line, you just see how long the stretch is. 3 Ford Mustangs as well. He goes to second, 2/10 shy of Oliver there. So some really good time so far, but I reckon they can maybe just about get it to a couple more tenths left on the board. But we'll see that in the final sequence, when of course the track is really ramped up in Evolution. And then, course, we will have that final couple of laps where the fuel definitely be all the way further to its lowest point. So here is Andy Winters, winner last time out at Interlagos. And you got a little Red Bull on the side, so a custom livery here for Andy Winters. You just see that car really pressing on now, heading in towards these difficult sequence of corners. His manufacturer teammate is at the top of the standings. So we'll have to see if Ben Oliver could retain his pole position. But of course, Andy Winters will be a definite challenger for this pole position. But then again, Ben Oliver goes quickest with a 141.1. So I'm being told that these two are pretty much buddies. So if they can buddy up on the front row, I'm sure there'll be a big delight. And I'm sure there'll be a couple of messages being swapped over between the two. So Winters over the line, does join the front row. It is Lexus with his manufacturer teammate. As we look to see Weatherston going to second in the LMP2s. He hits the brake pedal in towards that first corner of Daichi. It's going to be such a hot spot for overtaking. Is that corner, because you're seeing so much in terms of slipstream, in terms of trying to get an exit off one of the really difficult corners on the circuit. So I can expect a lot to happen around here. What about Rokash going to first, so improving his time overall. So Rokash from Weatherston, from Mole, from Axon, from Quinn, your top 5 in the LMP2s. Then, of course, Oliver, Winters, Han, Hassad, and Chrissy, top 5 in the LMGT3. So all of the top 6 are front-engined cars. So all the weight will be at the front. But then you've got the Porsche of Gargel. So we'll see if that mid-engine Porsche can do anything. That's the 92. So I believe one of the Manti cars, or maybe the first one. Sure. I'm sure we'll switch over to that at some point soon. But Ben Oliver goes and improves in his Lexus 141.0, so moves adrift as Gargel in his mid-engine Porsche goes to the front row. And he'll move aside, and it's a custom livery, it seems like, there for Gargel. What about Andy Winters over the line? Was he going to improve at all? Moves into view, and will he go up to the front row? He does not. 141 for Winters, so very, very close in that regard. Still not able to do what he needs to do to get on that front row. Rokash with a 130.2. Can Mold do anything close to 130.6? Puts himself, or stays third for the moment, as Volkart goes to 4th. The driver there has just recently jumped up the standings in the most recent seconds. Just hearing that 4.2 litre naturally aspirated V8 has been brilliant. I can listen to it for so long. But we do have 3.5 minutes left in the session. One of his first practice sessions for Patrick. As he makes his way now through this tricky little section of corners. You see the all-blue Moser Racing sponsored car will try and get the exit, but didn't use any of the curb on that outside line. So I wonder if that maybe means he's going to have a little bit left on the table. But he makes his way now down the long straight, the V8 just hoarding away. And he gets hauled into only 7th. So needs to be a little bit more of an improvement there from Tim Patrick. So this is now Needham in the Ferrari. A very interesting style of Ferrari. It seems like it's going back to, well, the Santander Ferrari. I can see on the side of that one the splash of yellow, splash of green. It seems like that's usually a mix of livery some sorts, but if Needham likes that, then so be it. Go on, have it on your car and have it for the rest of the season. I'm sure my eyes will definitely adjust to that car and make sure it's. No, I'm getting a giggle in my ears, but I'm being serious because your eyes can adjust to liveries like pretty well, because you know, you'll see something like I'm trying to think, like, well, the first thing that pops in my head is the 2021 Williams, where the car, I saw it for the first time and thought that looks absolutely horrible, but over the course of the season your eyes kind of adjust and you think, okay, it's not as bad as I first thought. But yeah, that initial image, it just did not look nice. More green sectors for Tim Patrick, now using the cut, but I think spun the rear tyres up on the exit. That's going to allow more time to creep in. So Tim Patrick going to be under a little bit of pressure as this is going to be last lap shenanigans here. So I think he's going to be the last driver to be able to get 2 laps unless he's slowing down, which he is. So Tim Patrick there will be on the 3rd row of the grid. Puts that car back into its box. And now we're back to Andy Winters in that Lexus. Toyota, and it does have the GR the Gazoo Racing on the side. So Lexus X Toyota, I'm guessing, and that's X Red Bull as well to make things even more. But 141.596, so not quite there for Andy Winters, but of course still only the 2nd round of the championship. Just because, you know, you topped a session of qualifying in the opening round, or, you know, won a race, got on the podium, doesn't really mean that, you know, they're going to be the contenders throughout the entire way. I've seen big comebacks in sim racing. I've seen jumbled up packs as well. I've covered a GT3 championship where we had pros, pro-ams and ams, and it was usually you would get a pro win every single time. You get a pro winning, but this, you know, in a season I covered, or finishing up covering a couple of months ago, we had a pro-am winning and led the championship with just 2 races to go and went on to win the entire thing. So never say never, and it's also down to driver preference of the circuit. So drivers may have a really nice flow around Brazil. That is Chris Needham, Craig Needham, my apology. I think I covered a Chris Needham in what is the Legends UK Championships. That's where I'm getting a little bit confused with. So sorry, Craig. I'll try not call you Chris for much further, but you know, I'm sure the guys in the Discord can cut me some slack. Oh dear, we've had a spin there from Haskins, so not the most elegant way to end a session for Max Haskins. We now look to switch to Scott Cruz. We'll have to see if our delivery wizard can get a great lap in the BMW. Of course, used by many top drivers like Kelvin van der Linde, Valentino Rossi in the GT World Challenge Championship. It seemed like they've gone, the BMWs are more used for, I'd say, if you're looking into the World Endurance Championship, more about silvers and bronzes, but a really good driver in there. I believe in the WEC series, Dan Harper won British GT in 2023. Now drives this manufacturer of a car in the World Endurance Championship and the GT World Challenge Championship. So yeah, a very, very good driver, Dan Harper. We've reached the 0-0 on the clock, so these are last laps here as we continue to watch Scott Cruz. He's looking for a 141.0 to put himself onto pole. He's got 2 green sectors, almost a second, but he goes only to 12th quickest. So 142.7 is not the way he wants to end it. I think that would be it for qualifying. So a really, really good session from a lot of the drivers there. But of course, this is going to be an initial interesting part of this session. So that was about that was about a good 26 drivers we have in the session. We now wait for the countdown towards the start of this race. It's the grid you can see there just going through immediately. I think I just saw an Emil Frey Red Bull livery in the mix there. So I'll be interested to see if that is actually a thing that will come to fruition. We'll get to see that out on the track, because that is a really, really stunning livery. It looks like, I hope that's not an actual thing. I think that some drivers on wet tyre, but I think that just means they haven't loaded into the session just yet. So we got Rokash from Weatherston. In the top row, Tom Mole will be in third, followed by Alan Axon. Jude Quinn, we saw it right at the beginning of the session, he qualifies fifth, ahead of Chuck Retallick. Then we find Andy Winters in next, alias Hassad. So I think that is, I'm not entirely sure what that is, because yeah, Andy Winters is not on pole position. So it's a bit of a mixed result in that one. So completely ignore that. But yeah, if we want to maybe bring up the sliding graphic once again, I think that would be the best suit for our viewers out there. Yeah, that looks like it's the grid for now. Some drivers still not gridded up in the pit lane, so they will be. I think SimGrid won't take that lightly. They'll be getting a bit of a negative on their results. We now start to get rolling here at Fuji Speedway, the second round of the LMU Apex and Chill Thursday League. The LMP2s and LMGT3 is about to get underway. What can we expect in the next hour and 15 minutes? Well, expect a lot of carnage. Expect a lot of drivers to try and search for the best that they possibly can. Get the most out of the car. But mostly important is to have fun. We love to have fun in these races. As much as sim racing can get very, very serious, go out there and enjoy yourselves is my tip for every one of you. We've got a bit of a shortened grid, it seems, after some drivers not managing to move off from their grid spot, but we'll have to see what happens. But 1 hour 15 on the clock, we guide our way toward the start line. Round 2 in Fuji Speedway is about to get underway. One of the Mercedes starting from the pit lane. We now go racing. The LMP2 stream their way down towards the first corner, and it is going to be Rokash to lead the way. But will be any move being made there? Weatherston trying the outside line in. But it's more like pink Orica in this case. A couple of wide moments there from drivers. They'll make their way now out towards the left-hander and on towards, I believe it is, it's not 130 yards, I can give you put it, it's 100 yards through the long right-hander. We start the clock now to who will look to win this race. Strategy will definitely be aplenty in this race. So all about who will be looking to get a fantastic result out of all of this. Look at that, a big old tussle here. Winters, Sad, Haskins, really battling really close. I think that's Gale in there as well. Gale under pressure from the Lexus, but oh, there goes the Aston Martin, the heart of the racing Aston Martin of Hassad down the inside. And who's that also in the mix? It's also Haskins in the mix. What about Sendan trying to see if he can try and go around the outside of the Ferrari? I expect the Ferrari to be better in this section, but the Proton car moves up ahead of the Ferraris. The Ford moves to fifth place. Some fantastic racing in the LMGT3s. The LMP2, they'll be minding about their business until they come upon these drivers. So it is Lexus from Porsche, from Lexus from Aston Martin, from Ford from Ferrari, from BMW, from two Fords. This is set to be one of the more exciting parts of the race, seeing how these guys get along. Some of the LMP2s did get left behind, it seems. So I wonder if there was contact at one stage. You see that the number 44 of Tom Moult going up the inside of the number 17 of Winters. So Andy Winters having to let that car go. Of course, Gagel and Ben Oliver will be approached by that car. There's yellow in sector 1, so I wonder if somebody has gone round. Yes, somebody in turn 1. So it looks like that would be Craig Needham. At some stage, here we go. It looks like this is a replay of Needham. Oh, big hit from the BMW, completely missing the braking point and basically pile drives into poor old Craig Needham. So he'll resume. I wonder which car that was, because yeah, that was a bit of a wild ride, a complete mismatch of the brake pedal. now we're seeing the other LMP2 of the 99 making their way through. And seeing 99 on the standings. Rocco sits a little faster lap, but of course it's the second time around. They make their way over the line here. We have a look at Jockert down in towards turn number 1, trying to see if he can just manage the car. There's going to be a bit of management during this race because it is a very, very long race. In all of this, been on about 42.7, but been a little bit slower than his qualifying lap time. But Volkart will look to just see if he can gain ever so slightly on Weatherston, because he'll need to keep him in tune if he wants to have any opportunity at taking a win here. And podium will definitely be on the cards, but about that overall win at the moment when you're seeing a little bit of a timer go from or the interval going from 1.9 to 2.0, yeah, it's not ideal from Volkart, but he's gaining at some stages, gaining in some places, losing in some places. Now we see Andy Winters up against Gargel in that blue Porsche. So as I said, the front engine cars seem to be really, really well, but it does seem like Gargel is, mid-engine Porsche really putting in the cats amongst the pigeons. We know how quick Winters is. We know how aggressive Hassan is, especially knowing what he did in the open lap of this race. You can see that the body roll getting sparking away on the under tray of the Lexus. Just you see that through the right hander now, using a lot of curb, which is exactly what these LMGT3s can do. They can really use that curbing to just get on tap with. You'll see that a lot, especially in the the GT World Challenge Series. They'll be using so much curb because their cars are used to it. They can just go over some of these curves like they're absolutely nothing. While the LMP2s will just be avoiding it like it's the game before it's lava. It's going to be like playing that game. The curbs are lava. Don't you dare touch them. Take on board with Gargel as he looks to try and just keep defensive. Unfortunately, we can't get a rearview mirror shot of what's going on with Andy Winters, but I don't expect an attack there from the Lexus in the early stages. But he is right at the inside, and just as I say that, he's put his car into a space that it was definitely open. He must have heard me say something, because now he's going to go onto the outside. I just think I wonder if this Porsche is just not quite at the stage he wants when he flips through the camera angles. Winters will just be on that inside line. This is going to get pretty close in towards Dunlop. The Porsche sticks ahead, and Hassan will be looking at it thinking, I want to get on this, because yeah, the minute I can get onto this, it's going to be brilliant. And there you go, Winters looking up the inside, desperate for a position, because Ben Oliver is deciding to really romp up the road here. He's used a little bit of his energy compared to Gargel, so we'll have to see if how that advances over time. He can do a little bit of lifting coasting to just save that as well. Now we get to the main straight, where I reckon the likes of the Porsche could be pretty quick here. Maybe the Aston will be getting that double dose of tow here. A little bit of a poor exit, I'd say, from Winters. Did not help him this case around, so Hassan will maybe be the one on the attack, and he is closing in that hard racing Aston Martin. But now up the inside, this is going to be very, very bold, very, very brave. Up the inside, he's got a little bit too deep, missing braking point, and Andy Winters to drop 2 places, maybe even 3. Is Sam Den Haan is able to get through on the Lexus, but just holds back for now. Oh, and there he goes. Sam Den Haan has gone off the road. Has he managed to keep it out of the barriers, I wonder? I'll have to look back, and he has, but that must have been a heart-in-mouth moment for Sam Den Haan. Here we go. On the left-hander, he's got now Belling and Christie. Christie using the Maro TCM delivery from this year, but here with delivery, yeah, just rear completely snapping on him. And Sam Hahn was very lucky. There was also a Ferrari off there at the same time. So 2 incidents kind of happening in one. Hopefully we'll see that Christy Merck livery get a little bit of airtime, because that is a wonderful livery, and I know exactly where it is. So this is the Josh Christie. So that is the livery used by Mauro Engel in this year's DTM season. It's really, really nice. The cheetah on the side, the yellow and the blue, really, really matching out as well. He's just behind that Proton Ford as well. So we now look back to the live action. Sam Hahn will look to try and just romp away from these guys, because he doesn't want to be involved in that battle anytime soon. Meanwhile, Ben Oliver is leading at a very, very good advantage here. I think there was a switch in the background between Winters and Hassad. Battling over second and third. They are in close contention there at the Aston Martin's contact. Oh, he's got into the side of the Lexus and just about saved it. Here comes Gargel to take through on second. These LMGT3s are just incredible. I don't want to kind of slate them at all, but I will say aggressive. I think that's the nice way I can say about this one. This is, and I've seen some pretty aggressive GT3 racing previously. You know, just watch the GT World Challenge Championship. You know, I keep mentioning that series, but there's so much carnage to every single race you go through. You know, I've been lucky to go to the last couple of rounds in 2024, in 25 and 26. And obviously, it's a really, really good event at Brands Hatch. So, yeah, it's giving GT World Challenge kind of in levels of aggressiveness. We now, that is beautiful. I'm just about, you know, seeing all the livery, because they didn't really appear too much in the qualifying session, but Dan Reid has gone all out here in the Monster Energy Ford. You know what? This looks like something that would come out of V8 Supercars. I'm not going to apologise for it either. This looks like something that would come out of the V8 Supercars Championship. We're seeing it right here in LMU. So you know, Dan Reid, you know, once you've listened to the broadcast, give yourself a round of applause, because this is a superb livery you've got on display. Just wish you were a little bit higher up for the world to see, but I'm sure there are a lot of these drivers still just pressing on, see if they can really make their way up towards the podiums. We now look back here to Cruz and Elik. Dennis just in front there in the Ford. So it's Ford versus BMW. We saw Scott Cruz in his BMW right at the end of qualifying, not being able to improve his lap by much, but it does seem like the white and cherry blossom pink livery of Elik. So we'll have to see if these two maybe have a little bit of a ding-dong in towards the Dunlop chicane. And we now see the TLX livery of Rokash coming upon our 13th place runner. So now the LMGT3s are starting to get involved in the LMP2 lead battle. Rokash 3.5 seconds now ahead of Weatherston. Volkart is still an extra second back, so you know, this is where it could prove to be very decisive. And yes, I've just seen that Dennis has just gone a little bit off there the circuit, maybe had a little bit of an outbreaking moment, and Scott Cruz has gone on by. So has now Rokash in his LMP2, the Oracle now V8 screaming its way down the start-finish straight, and you're just seeing their Haskins up ahead, and that's a pretty crowded part of the race circuit. You're just seeing on the mini-map there on the right-hand side, that is second all the way down to 10th. Now we've just got to try and avoid. Let's actually stay on board here with Rokash, because this is where this is the pride of the risk of getting through these LMGT3 traffic. You're going around the outside of one, lifting off, then you're having to go back on the throttle and try and get past 2 cars without hitting anyone, but then he's decided to back off and just avoid hitting the Lexus for sure, because he's got a 3.5-second lead, and he doesn't need to risk all of that. He knows it's going to be quicker than the Aston Martin, so we'll peel through that one of Sad, who's unfortunately dropped a couple of places. Now we're getting an onboard vision of what Rokash can see in toward the Dunlop chain. There is Mount Fuji. Of course, we're going to get the classic Mount Fuji shot at some point during this race, and it's happened within the first 15 minutes. Now, again, you're getting up the back of these GT3s, really trying to pick your way past. Now you know there's an alley on the outside of the Ford. You're going to just try and leave a little bit of space on that inside line. I'm not fully sure if he's still there, and he was still there, so there would be I'm pretty sure a spotter in your ears maybe saying something, but yeah, he's got the pace on the other Ford, and you've got the BMW, which you can easily get past the BMW. What about the Lexus ahead? I'd say no. I'd say lift up a little bit and then just save your fuel, stay behind the Lexus. But that is pretty much just trying to master getting around traffic in an LMP2 car. It is one of the hardest things you can do. And of course, with the hypercars, it's equally as challenging, but you had difficult circuits like the Nürburgring, like Spa, like maybe Silverstone, for example, because that could also come to be a very difficult circuit. The track temperature is going to start cooling down as time goes on. So we now move to the battle here between Hassad Belling, and we've also got Christie as well on there as well. And that seems to be one of our LMP2s moving it. Oh wow, that could have been very, very close. And we see the Iron Lynx Proton moving past as well. Will he be able to get past the Aston late on the brakes? No, he just decides to duck in behind, but that's going to cost that. I think that's number 9. We don't have a number 9. That is D25 Patrick. So there goes Quinn up the inside, seizes that opportunity, but would that move be entirely made? No, he doesn't. But this is just the beauty of multi-class racing. You've got these LMGT3 that have their own battles, and the LMP2s who are, having their own battles, but at maybe 40, 50, 60 miles an hour quicker than what you're doing, and maybe even some corners. Just a little extra 10 miles an hour. Thank you very everyone for joining in the chat. I can already see that some of you are very much active, seeing what is the fuss is about, because we've actually got some commentary for you tonight. If you want to go and follow me, you can follow me. Actually, let's move that aside for now, because we see Belling and the Aston Martin of Hassad going side by side on the back of the 7th and 8th. We've got the Mercedes of Christie in the background as well. We'll look to try and maybe nab a pace or two if these guys come to blows. Hassad and Belling are really going at it. Of course, Hassad was up in the top 3 at one stage, just picking off a place after mistakes from other drivers of Gagel and Winters. But at this moment in time, yeah, he's having a little bit of an issue here. Down in 7th place, not where he wants to be. Look to just see if he can maybe get away and on towards hard. Just see there the brakes there. Look how confident the Merc is on the brakes of Christie. Got a bit of a replay I'm being told in my ear, so let's see what this is going to be. This is going to be Winston and Gargel in the battle for 2nd and 3rd. It's a very, very late move on the brakes. Oh, please avoid the Proton Iron Lynx car, and he hits exactly what he does. But great move there from Andy Winters. It's in Lexus 123. Lexus has always been very competitive. Every time I've covered LMU, it just seems that these Lexus always just feel and seem so strong. Belling is passing away for 7th place. We now look back to these 2 Ford Mustangs, who will now look to do battle over 5th and 6th. The Monster Energy of Reid just ahead of that Proton competition of Sam Hahn. Move their way in toward the left hand of turn 2 and then in towards 100R. And it's just about building it over time. You know, there's so much left of this race. You know, these guys will really look to try and press on. Back to the eye view of Andy Winters. Still a long way to go up the road to Ben Oliver. So if Oliver runs into maybe a little bit of traffic or it's caught out by the LMP2, very much so that gap could maybe close a couple of tenths, maybe even a second if he's pushed well off the track. See Mickey in chat there, seemingly trying to look to maybe get a comeback. Come on, Mickey. Why not? Just free up your day. Come back in. It's great racing. I'm sure you'll make it even better. As thank you so much for tuning in tonight for this second round of the championship, the midweek. Just seeing the 99 AO Racing Spike Classic favourite livery out of in pretty much every corner of the world. Any sports car fan will absolutely adore the Spike livery, moving past all three of these LMGT3s. You're just seeing now the race starting to a little bit of a lull. We've had, you know, our top battles already. Some are still, you know, linked on and chained on to each other, just dragging themselves around the circuit. Look at that Mercedes there of Chrissy, really, really good. Probably got a fantastic shape as well on this graph. I'd love to see how that would be looking, because probably stamping on the brakes, he's getting it stopped. Then he's kind of reading it off as he heads his way toward the corner, but we'll take a little bit of an onboard with the V8 roaring Mercedes. Really look up the inside here of Belling. I don't think he's going to do that. Weatherston has now dropped to third. Yellows was happening there for a moment. Oh, has he had a spin during the middle of those tricky section of corners? Here is the pink car, prepping the Scottish away kit. Oh, yeah, Ridge went round for the 86. David Weatherston now look to rejoin the race. Be it down in third. But yeah, it does seem like the Scotland away kit he's sporting. It seems. I originally called it a pink, kind of a pink Porsche livery. You know, the one that I believe that competes in the in Le Mans. I won't say if it's if it won or not, because I don't want to get it wrong. But yeah, it does seem like he's sporting the Scotland, one of the Scotland kits. Down towards turn 1 we go. Looks like Sam Hahn up the inside now of one car. Oh, he almost hit Harmeland in the blue and black BMW. That could have been all sorts of blurry, but it's happened before in LMU and iRacing, where you misjudge your braking zone, you ploughed into another car and gone, oh, well, that's my race done. I've not seen that. No, not the first time I've seen that. Probably won't be the last. Just winding up my producer in my ear. But yes, really top racing so far. I've been really impressed. You know, I've commentated big fields, and you know, this has been superb for what it has been. I think we just need more LMP2s. I love those cars. I went to Silverstone and I was like, yeah, I love these cars entirely. I mean, who doesn't? They're absolutely brilliant. Got great aero, you know, but they're not like the full package. You get what I mean? You know, they're still a little bit leaving you on the edge. So Sam Hahn will be looking to try and maybe get past Harmeland this time around. Ford will have a lot of V8 power compared to the V6 in the front of that BMW. He'll be able to move down in towards turn 1. See if he can just about make his way out. And this is a good friend, Michael Wood. Surprised he hasn't seen a tyre barrier yet. Running the WRT liveries. Let's see if we can get a closer look. See if we've got any scratches or tyre marks from maybe an Armco somewhere. Shocking that he doesn't read the turbo beautifully. Guarantee that's going to be all scratched up by the end of it, by the final 5 minutes. So you're welcome, Michael. I'm sure he'll be absolutely loving this new commentator. Definitely not putting in a report at all. We've had a little bit of contact, I believe. This is going to be Belling and Christie down towards the first corner. Remember, this battle is getting pretty tight here. Oh, it's a love tap. Oh, it's 2 love taps. Oh, Josh Christie must be loving the rear end of that Lexus. Expelling all the fumes from the from multiple actions, multiple pieces of action. Then we had this for 7th place. Belling and Hassan, the Lexus going around at the outside after being snipped up by the Mercedes. Go around the outside. That's a beautiful move, you know. That's a really good move. Then we see Hassan trying to get back up on the inside line, forcing the Lexus out. Yeah, really, really top action. Let's see if there is any more. We do have another replay, it seems, on the cameras. And again, it's this battle once again. And I think it's going to be out of this corner. Maybe that little bit there. Contacts there. Then, bang. They're just going at each other. You know, like your little kids. Oh, no. Oh, that's Belling. And Belling... I think he's been hit round, or has he looped it himself? Here we go. 4th replay in the last minute or so. And, oh dear, it's Hassan. Oh, that's going to be a big question. We are back after a couple of technical difficulties. I'm sure Mike Woods wasn't very happy with my comments, so decided to pull the plug on things. But we have returned to proceedings, and as you can see, proceedings are happening with Christie having a bit of a moment. That's not. I wanted us to start this one nicely, and then we've just had a Mercedes decided to go for a half spin in the midst of a battle. So we've got a couple of drivers coming into the pits as well. Gargel coming into the pit lane to kick off our pit stop. So this is going to be a really interesting one. This looks like the first driver to make their way into the pit lane. So, of course, it does seem we had 75 minutes on the clock. It does seem like it's going to be an early pit stop in this one. I think it's very much the producer in my ear. But yeah, that's a little bit early. I expect everyone to kind of pit around about the 30-minute mark. Now look to Matt Haskins, who at the moment in the Ferrari is just making his way through the left-hander and on towards Dunlop chicane. Tom Mole is going to set the fast lap in the LMP2 class 130.6 as he's now into 2nd. So he's now just trying to gain here from Rokash, but we've got Volkart who's just sitting in 3rd place. Now Volkart has had a bit of a quiet race so far, sitting in 3rd for the majority of it. Has just decided that he needed to something to try and maybe change his outcome, change his story of the race. Okay, Rokash will be very much at the forefront of the field. 9 seconds to Tom Mould. As I said, I think that just kind of represents the pace of Rokash. We know how quick he is initially, especially with the qualifying session performance last time out in Brazil. You pass your way through over the timing line for these two drivers, Haskins and Cruz. Scott Cruz hoping that he can build on his been a bit of a difficult qualifying session, but yeah, I think overall we got a really, really top-notch. I think that's a great word to use. Top-notch set of races in this one so far. It's the 8 LMP2s have been really going at it. Volkart head in 5th now. As Weatherton has come into the pits, and of course Weatherton had a little bit of an issue in the state around about the 45-minute mark, where of course had its little issues. Now we've got we have Rokas from Mold at the top, but we now move to Volkart, who now really trying to get the pedal down towards the 4th place. You've got to try and gain to win here. 7 seconds. Of course, that is going to be a gaining time. Just see Volkart really trying to push on forward. I think Quinn is just exiting the last corner, so those two are going to be definitely not close when it comes to the pit stops. That's the thing where we're going to be looking at for the moment. A little bit of a lock up on the front right for Volkart. And then just tries to push on forward. You've seen that row of LMGT3. It's going to be moments like this where we'll really define a stint. Because if we can get past these guys without any issues in the slightest, that would be absolutely good. Definitely try and get past the Ferrari. I don't think we're going to even do that unless he's late on the brakes here. Oh my goodness me, he nearly had it on the Ferrari. Well, dark blue livery Red Bull racing car, so I think a fan of the Milton Keynes based Formula 1 team. Just picking off through. Now I'd love to see if we get a serve of these guys, because I would be really interested if we can see just how these guys work when there's a grid full of LMP2, grid full of LMP3. It would just really spice up the race, but we'll get a bit of off there from our LMGT3 in front. That's going to be one of the Alexis's. Well, it's a fantastic little graphic here of the RPM, the brakes, and the throttle inputs from our LMP2. And you can see there's no kind of energy management. You know, there's not any form of there's not really too much on the screen, which is great because that really just indicates the pure racing of this one. You know, the only thing you're really managing is the fuel, and even then, you know, you've only got a singular pit stop to draw in to conclusions. Well, I say draw into conclusions. That's really what you've got to manage. Off the exit of the corner is going to either get past the BMW of Hammerland. Now he's got about 2 seconds there to Sam Hard, so I think that's going to be one of those where he might get held up into T1. Yeah, it's just seeing if it's seeing what the closest battles are at the moment, because it does seem to be a little bit quiet for the moment. I think it's just a couple of drivers on the charge. Oh, this is going to be Michael Wood here, still looking clean. I'm going to repeat that to my broadcaster. He's saying, I hope Michael Woods doesn't crash the stream again. Because we were having a bit of a chin wag and a joke that Michael Woods was the one that crashed the Savvy. He didn't like the comments. And he just seems like that he was the one that kind of pulled the plug. I'm going to say now that Elias Hassad, drive-through penalty for the number 27 Hearts of Racing car, is now managed to get a drive-through penalty for track limits. So usually I think it's usually 3 strikes and then you get a penalty. So of course it is the 1 strike and then 2, then a warning, and then a third of the penalty. Yeah, that's very tight on the margins, but you know, I think he just went with the evidence that these GT3s can take these curves, but of course you've got to be careful of those white lines at the same time. So Hassad will be now looking to work his way forward, but it's just been a bit of a race to forget, I think, for Elias Hassad. He's in a really, really good place, dropped down to what I believe was about 7th in the field, maybe maybe even 8th, and then tries to gain it back up and then goes and gets a penalty. So the drive-through will be taken this time around for Elias Assad, and bearing in mind he also needs to pit. That will be a bit of a ring in the ear for a lot of these drivers at the moment, thinking, you know, I do need to make a pit stop at this race. This race is going to be finishing around about midday, it seems, in sim time. So right when the sun is at the pretty point. Still looking at the energy levels. Ben Oliver, Winters, Sam Hahn starting to get a little bit low on their energy. Here to Tom Mould still just trying to push on forward, but it's going to be such a difficult task. Yes, because Rockash is coming up to some back markers, but also so is he, and he's probably getting off to the worst of it now, because you've got a BMW just there. Where do you overtake? You go left or right? I'm sticking behind, so you're going to waste yourself a little bit of time. Now you find the gap here, and it's just moments like that that really define a race. Having to go around the outside, but he can use the aerodynamics of the LMP2 to really push his way through the corner. You know, it's not like he's relying on some on an absolute brick of aero to try and get around the corner. Yeah, the aeros of this car is really paying dividend and Tom Mould is getting exactly what he wants out of it as he moves past our Ford Mustang of what I believe is Ben Hahn. So it looks like it's Josh Christie who's joined back to the stream. He's having a bit of a half spin, it seems. So he's now gaining here on Scott Cruz as the virtual energy continues to die down here. Is that going to represent where they are in terms of fuel? Because when you hit 0, it's not quite 100%. You've still got a little bit left in the tank. The only one that doesn't really have energy, quote unquote, are the LMP3s and the LMP2s. Seem to be a little bit quiet on the second. Got a replay here coming up for you. This is Michael Woods and Elias Assad down towards turn number 1. Is Woods going to have a spin? There is Assad coming out of the pit lane behind. Michael Woods not dropping it this time. He's actually taken a little bit of grass out of the road there, but it doesn't seem like that's it, unless Elias Assad has something going on here. This is into the pit lane. So he goes. That's what. So we've basically got a system where we get notified of things happening out on track. I believe we have a system in iRacing where if the car goes under 20 miles an hour, 20 kilometers an hour, it pings up that there's been an incident. So it might say, you know, this happened, this person went under 20 kilometers an hour, and it pinged up, and there we can get turned into a replay. I think it's happened. Similar thing here. The overtakes happened, and then it's been pinged up twice because, of course, you know, Assad has gone ahead of BMW of Woods, and then Woods has come back. So that kind of indicated to our producers that there's a big battle going on. But no, it is just, yeah, as I say, it's just our Aston Martin friends going into the pit lane and taking a penalty. Once again, a big thank you to everyone being here in chat, being active as always, and we've got some fantastic viewers going on, and hopefully you can keep on tabs with everything. If you want, you can subscribe and like the live stream here at Apex and Chill Racing League. You can also go down and find the Discord server. You can come and join and race with all of us. If you're looking for really good LMU and Gran Turismo 7 racing, then we are the place for you. We've also got an official website and merch you can have a look down in the description, and also if you want to join and support the cause helping men fight through difficult times, you can have a look at Andy's Man Club by visiting the link below. Everything, just a single look at the page and reading, I think is a big thank you to anyone, because while we aren't the biggest page, we aren't the biggest, YouTube channel out there, anyone clicking that link would be a big thank you to you. If you want to follow me as well, and just keep on check with all my stuff, you can follow me at Adam Reid _commentary on Instagram. That's ADAMREID _ find out all of my clips and where am I going in the real life world. I've actually posted a show reel, so if you want to have a look at all of my recent work, you can have a look on there as well, see what I get up to, rather than just sitting in a chair covering normal people driving virtual race cars for fun. Meanwhile, one of those people driving a virtual race car for fun is Josh Christie, and he's evidently very skilled because he's just overtaken the good move up the inside at the left-hander. That's after 100 Rs and towards turn number 6, and now we head through 300 R and on towards Dunlop corner. Hard on the brakes, getting through the corner. I just wonder if Christie is just enabling himself with that extra speed to go on through. We've had a few more pit stops in the LMP2. We know that Volkart was one of the top drivers to pit early. Then we had Quinn, we've had Weatherston, and we've had Retallick as well. Here comes Tom potentially going on through. Yeah, I think Christie saw that. He was like, oh, there's someone on my outside. So just had to leave that little bit of space. Into the pit lane then comes that Woods then. Looks like Michael Woods making his way into pit lane. So a really interesting moment for Michael Woods then coming to the pit lane. This is Ben Oliver, and that looks like Volkart. That was you wouldn't get that in a racetrack at Alton Park, would you? LMU providing all of the interesting moments. I think that should that might be a thing we save now. We'll just put that into a little compilation for something. I don't know what it would be called on the spot, but there's definitely a kind of a show reel or a compilation pack, YouTube video, whatever, that is going to be going into. LMU fails. Brought to you by Apex and Chill Racing. There is a battle brewing, and it's with Tom Mould. Look at the time here. Last lap around, 133.6 for Rocash, 130.7 for Tom Mould. He has done some absolute savings as Mould, so I wonder if this is Rocash just getting stuck behind traffic. And look at that in the mini. Look at the chicane here, the two green dots coming up to. That is Rocash just about to come up to them, and he's going to catch them in the most awkward places. Now watch that gap come down. That was about 3.5 seconds when we just had a look at it. It's 3.3, 3.1. Then we'll see if Mould can catch up here. Again, Rocash is just sitting behind that Lexus. Lexus off the circuit, giving a bit of a jump scare to Andy Winters, who's actually been into the pits recently. So Andy Winters pits with 25 minutes left to go roughly. We're now with 23. Now it looks like Rocash is going to pick up a little bit of a victory, but look at the gap. Down by another second for Tom Mould. Gap looks like last him around 133.0, and then Tom Mould 136.8. Yeah, Tom Mould's in the pit lane. That's why. So that was a bit scary for me. I thought he had a bit of a moment off the last corner. I don't know about anyone else here in the YouTube chat. In production, but I had a bit of a heart and mouth moment. Yeah, confirmed. Our producer thought he went off as well, so but it's all fun and games in the Apex and Chill Racing League. Volkart, yellow in sector 1, as he made an error I think he's had a spin. I think he's spun off the first corner. We're going to replay here. Down. Oh, and he's lost the rear end. That could spell the end for Volkart. And that will mean he has no rear downforce on that LMP2. And it looks like that is game over for Volkart. Switch off the PC. Try not to punch anything on the way through. And maybe calm down yourself with a nice glass of water. Whatever you desire. I won't judge. But yeah, you could just see the struggle of losing that wing. Oh my goodness me, that's Tom Mould. There goes the 86 of Weatherston as well. That could have been all sorts of horrible heart-in-mouth moments. The car's going to spin. Oh my goodness, that's the top 10 Apex and Chill moments. That's done a whole 360 and gone, yeah. Let me just start this out. That one's for you, ladies. So whilst Volkart is restarting the way back to the pit lane, so we have the Monster Energy part of Dan Reid. He is catching Hammerland. I think Hammerland's going to be pitting at the end of this lap, so I don't know if Reid can make it another lap, but I think it's going to be best if he comes into the pits with the BMW, and I feel that's going to be a little bit nervy because here comes the LMP2. How's Hammerland going to take this one? Dan Reid's going to follow him behind. Oh, they're going to be at snail's pace, aren't they? They're going to come into the pits and be at snail pace. They've just I think, avoided coming into close contact with Volkart. So this is going to be a big battle in the pit lane with 19 minutes left of the race. So really not a lot left to go. And then off the pit lane, looks like, yeah, Dan Reid has decided this is my time to fuel short. Oh my goodness me, he's left before. Wow, that is a big moment in this one. Hamilton can definitely make it to the end, but Dan Reid is going to have to save like hell to get to the end of this race. 18 minutes left of the session, and this could be a big deciding moment. Haskins needs to pit, Scott Cruz needs to pit. Can Ben Oliver get to the end? Oh, it'd be close with Winton, but Gagel, I think he could just push. I think Gagel can just push to the end. Has Dan Reid played to perfection? Because we know Ben Oliver has done really well. He's got down to 36% on his virtual energy. I think Haskins will make it to the line. Not sure about our 999 of Dennis in fourth there. He's sitting on 1%. Yes, Haskins on 0. I think he's just about made it. So he is cut it so fine. So fine on the energy. About Scott Cruz. Scott Cruz made it into the pit lane. I'm looking at Dennis Ike in fourth. Has he made it into the pits? He's at 0%. And there is Volkart, sector 1. Stop go. And there we go. A stop go penalty for Dennis Ike. Oh, and it's just gone horribly wrong. Man in the Ford Mustang, there he is. And it's 100 seconds. Stop go penalty. That is a 40 for going over your allotted energy allowance. But look at this, down into the first corner. It's Tom Mould now a second behind Rokash. riding on board here. The temperatures have dropped, so now that won't be putting a lot of pressure through the tyres. So if you are on fresh tyres, you will be able to just absolutely lead them for the remaining 20 minutes, but of course not too much where you're just absolutely sliding around every single corner. So we've got a little bit of nursing to do. You can see Rokash guiding his way through. Now will Mould be desperate to get past the forward of Dan Reid. Oh, I just tried the outside line, tried that inside line. Now he's going to be losing a bit of time, but moves up the inside of the Ford. Sponsored by Monster Energy. Other energy drinks are available. I think I should do my part as neutral as possible. As you do. Down towards the final corner. You're just seeing there is the Porsche of Gagel, who will look to now move behind Andy Winters. They were having a great battle in the opening 15 minutes of this race, but I think Gagel has just had just maybe got caught out of it. I think the strategy just hasn't gone to plan for the Porsche driver, and also you see the top six dominated by front engine cars. Down toward the right-hander. Can Rokash find anything? Because the last 15 minutes could be crucial. There's a couple of cars now moving in toward the Dunlop chicane. But I wonder if it's now down to Mould's overall just pace. We'll have to see if he can get past the car in front, which he does. Strong move there from Tom Mould. Move their way off turn number 6 and on towards 7 through 100R. 300R, I believe it was. Dunlop chicane next. Look how hard on the brakes there for Tom Mould. It's a really, really good battle. It looks like also we're going to have Patrick coming in third, unless Quinn can also get him. Somebody's been watching the European Le Mans series. It's just something different about seeing a Quinn in an LMP2. Oh, he spun! There goes Rokash! And that completely caught me off guard. But Rokash spins from the race lead. Tom Mould will lead here at Fuji. And I lulled into a kind of a yapping phase to build up this big crescendo. The crescendo happens at the time I wasn't expecting. The CLX driver drops it. Oh, and that is so unfortunate for Yaki and Rokash. Oh my goodness me. I just wonder. There goes Weatherstone in the 86. But yeah, the frustration on Rokash, that's like putting a dagger through a heart, that. We just go past midday here at Fuji Speedway in sim time. And it's now Tom Mould who is the leader of this race. He hasn't seen the lead of the race for a very, very long time. Look back to our LMGT3 pack here, because look at this. Hammerland and Haskins battling away for P6. The front engine BMW. Oh, now coming up to be passed by the 99 AO Racing. Yeah, it's definitely the 99 in real life, but see if I can figure out which car that is. It might be Retallic. Down toward the chicane here. I want to see how the Ferrari is through this tricky final section, because we stamp on the brakes. He's very, very good on the brakes. You see the disc glowing away. That's one of the that's one of the beautiful sights of motor racing. Through goes Haskins. We'll see if that Ferrari just had the aero to gain here on the BMW. He's doing a little bit here and there, but then the rear side to step out a little bit with the Italian manufacturer's car. So you can see the LMP just looking up the inside, and that's going to really hamper the Ferrari on Matt Haskins. And now he's got to deal with the straight line speed of the BMW. And trust me, the way I've seen it this year, that BMW is going to be an absolute rocket down the street. Look at it, it's going away and leaving Haskins. You might as well roll down his window and say, wave out the window saying bye-bye. Hamilton will be on the brakes here, but remember, that car is very, very heavy now. The Ferrari's lightness becomes an advantage, and that's the beauty of LMGT3 racing. You get things like that, where the BMW will be an absolute rocket down that start-finish straight, and then you'll see the Ferrari be incredible on the brakes. It seemed like that, but it's always the BMW being a heavy brick. I should call the BMW a brick. Maybe. I mean, he's not exactly shaped like that. I feel like calling it a brick is a bit mean. I'm being told in my ear, it drives like a brick on LMU. But I think from what I've heard, this car is actually designed for both IRL racing and sim racing. It looks like Hamilton hasn't put that to the full test here, because here comes Haskins, who've been using this onboard, driver eye view footage. Haskins trying that outside line. Fortunately, it's not raining for him, so he won't be able to use the cutting line. Here comes an LMP, I think maybe on the outside line. LMP decides to back off it. Oh, I thought that was going to be going into the rear quarter panel. But there goes Retallick. So maybe Axon in that AO Proton Spike livery car. Not Proton. The AO racing car. So now we'll have to see down in towards the first corner. This is a bit of a lock up there for Retallick. So Chuck apparently is a very, very nice car. It's very dark. It's a really, really nice little. It seemed like when races get kind of a bit lull, get a bit dull, I think the thing we should do, unless it's like, almost a full way through the season, I think we're just going to be immediately on livery watch. I think that's the best way we're going to be going about things. If it gets a little bit boring, we'll just go, what livery should we switch to, and then glaze. Or we'll look at the livery and be like, chuck in the bin. That's a bit of curve there for Sam Hahn. Had a bit of a moment there out of the left-hander, but he'll move up the inside here. Adam Reid, I think, might be a little bit on the saving mode. Adam Reid is not taking this line down whatsoever. The Monster Energy for Mustang really running the limits, but looks like Sam Hahn will be there to try and move ahead, which he does. And there goes Retallick. Chuck Retallick. Try and push his way through as well. It's LMP2. And fast as that recently from I believe it was Josh Christie down in 9th there. To the 140s. Now we get to see Dan Reid go at it with Sam Hahn. Down into the first corner. Will he brake later than his Ford compatriot? Oh, I think that was a bit of a wide moment there for Sam Hahn. And Dan Reid, I think, also had a moment. Oh, we've got two flashing cars and a yellow in sector 1. And we're coming up to said moment. Doesn't look like there's anything, but this is down. Oh, there's a Volkart. Big old spinner. Well done to stop it going into the tyre barrier. I have to say the same thing about Michael Woods in the LMGT3 car. So we'll have to see if Chrissy is about to see what he did in another replay. But oh my word, that's the 88 of that's Sam Hahn, I think, and Volkart getting a little bit close for comfort. With 7.5 minutes left to go. Volkart's last of the LMP2s. Oh dear. That's well, I don't know what to say about that one, to be honest. Ilian Volkart having a very, very difficult evening. So let's see how that turns out in the last few moments of this one. Michael Woods and Chris Needham. It's BMW against Ferrari. Michael Woods is probably to shame he made an overtake. Give this man a gold medal. Deliver him a trophy personally. I am impressed. I'm hoping Michael Wood won't be the butt of all the jokes for this season. I might have to try and pick on someone each race. So 6.5 minutes left to go. Mold lead from Rocash. Oh my word! Adam Reid having the jump scare of his life. We have no idea what he saw in that mirror, but it was definitely something scary. LMP2 jump scare. So Moller from Rocash from Patrick from Queen Stone from Axel from Metallic and Volkart, your 8 cars in LMP2. It's Ben Oliver from Winters. 2 best buds in the Lexus, leading 16 seconds. Then the top 2 with Gagel in the Porsche. Then we see Sam Denhan, and then we find Dan Reid in 5th. Hammerland in 6th, but by Askins, Cruz, and Chrissy Hassan with Wood, Needham, and that is pretty much it. That's the 12 drivers. So we'll have to see how this will kind of work out with Rocash. Now trying to get past the BMW of Scott Cruz. Oh, yep, absolutely not there. Volkart, we a bit of oh, he's gone again. Oh my goodness, what is happening with Lilian Volkart? Yeah, it's just not nice to see. Round the outside for Rocash. Went all the way then. Really good stuff. But it didn't look like he's catching Tom Mould at all after that little hold up. Yeah, he's got to try and now run his race to the end. So now it's starting to get a little bit low on energy once again, but I can assure you they'll most likely get to the end. This is Elic. Oopsie daisies. A spin for the Ford Mustang. Oh, he clocks the barrier, so Blanc from the Cherry Blossom Ford Mustang. Oh, has he got a... Is that just grass? It looks like we've got a bit of maybe suspension down. No, it's just grass. Okay. I had a bit of a scary moment when that happened. I was like, oh, is this man getting away, or the car just crabbing? Alexa, play crab rave. Yakir Rocash will stay for second now. He is, as I said, just trying to nurse that car to the end, losing a little bit more time to Tom Mould. But I think Tom Mould has just had that really consistent pace over the... Wow. A whole sector of yellows. And I don't want to pick out... Didn't want to put out any names there, but I may have just seen him flash in yellow. Are we about to have a look at this incident? Oh, yeah, it is Volkart. Spinella. Gilan Spinella. Sorry, Gilan. This is Link. Another spin there. Oh. Unfortunately, he avoided the kiss on the front end there from one of the BMWs. We're just trying to make a friend, it seems. Here's a little skirmish. That's another off there for Volkart. It looks like he's just completely cut the dung. That did not look like someone that took the chicane properly. I'm sending the producer into a laughing frenzy now. I'm going to repeat that on stream, producer. We said we'll switch Dan Reid until Volkart crashes again. Oh my God! It's happened again. It's happened again. Ilian Volkart. It's happened again. What more do you want me to talk about this, Ray? Because Ilian Volkart has just been... He's gone from a racing driver to a ballet dancer, it seems. him up on a stage. Put him in a tutu or something. I'm sure the Discord is getting some fantastic ideas already. So the race is starting to go into its closing stages here at Fuji Speedway. We've had a lot of fun. We have, as I said right at the beginning of the race, we're here to have fun. And I feel like the majority of the drivers have done that. Unless you're Volkart. Because you've just been... Yeah, let's not continue that one. he already knows what he's been doing this race. Tom Mould is... Sorry. Producers to Tommy's... I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Volkart's now 5 laps down, so... If you went into this race thinking Volkart's going to win, I'm sorry, but you might not be able to predict again. You know, it's you had a good run up until then, but yeah, we're trying not to compress anymore. Troubles on our good friend down in 8th place, but while Tom Mould is had a bit of an easy drive. Well, I say easy drive. He's Sunday drive is the best way you can do it. He still had to push, he still had to close the gaps, still had to try and maintain pace. But yeah, Rokash has been almost he's been catchable until he spun. But Tom Mould has remained on the track, and that's what you need to do as a racing driver. Keep that car on the racetrack. The clock hits 0. We've now got one more lap left in this race. Got a great top 3, all batting away. It looks like some closer than others. That's what you get when you have a field spread like this. You really get you do get drivers that are just separated by quite big margins, and it's a learning process with LMU. It's a real big learning progress. Having to adapt to, mate, there's probably about 80 cars you're going to have to adapt to. Every single different hypercar. An LMP2 the same, LMP3 is the same, and then you've got all the LMGT3s. And then you've got to adapt to the circuits as well, which is another bit of a headache. So, drivers aren't here to be perfect, but one man who has been pretty much top of everyone else is Tom Mould. He will look to make his way towards the timing line and will take victory here in Fuji Speedway. Round 2 goes to Tom Mould. What a fantastic way to win that one. And Oliver is running low on his allowance of he's running a little bit low on his fuel. There goes Andy Winters. He'll confirm second. Rokash will confirm second in the LMP2s. We now look to 3rd place of Gargle, and then Sam Hahn will just finish home in 4th. I do wonder if is that the Sam Hahn I'm thinking of. I'll have to maybe say that in the Discord, just to avoid embarrassing myself. But we're just waiting now for Patrick, who makes his way over to 3rd place in the LMP2. There is Scott Cruz. He'll finish home in P8. Ahead of Josh Christie, who will have a great lap time there at 41.8. Then we find Elias Sad in the Heart of Racing Aston Martin. He did a great first stint, then just had issues about the race, and unfortunately finished it. Once you have a mistake in this game, it just seems like you're never able to come back from it. It just takes so long to come back from everything here. Then we have Michael Woods, who I'm sure will be receiving a big gold medal for his overtake on I nearly said Chris then. It's Craig Needham. But Michael Woods will come home in P11. I think apart from Volkart will be the last driver across the line. Everyone seems to have parked up right in front of the first corner, but Lian Boscart. So over the line will be the last of our LMGT3s. And Volkart will now just be going up the gears and finishing home in 8th place. He'll hope for a better round this. I think is he going to spin it over the line? No, he's just letting the wheel go. So that's going to be it then for round 2. It is Tom Bowles, your winner ahead of Yakir Rokash. Great battle between the two. And then let's look at that. Tim Patrick finishing only 2/10 behind Rokash. That was a battle and a half. Look at that. June Quinn as well. Wow, that could have been awesome to watch. David Williston in P5 with Alan Annex, and then got Chuck Retallick in P7. Ben Oliver in P1 for the LMGT3s in his Lexus. He was Andy Winters. Then we find Andre Gargil in the Porsche. Tom Mould took the fastest lap of all, 130.6. So that's Wait. We are getting the rest of the results. Sam Hahn is 11th, followed by Dan Reid, Matt Haskins, and then Victor Hammerland. It's Scott Cruz from Josh Christie with Elias Sad, Michael Wood, Elian Boscart, Craig Needham in P20. I'm pretty sure we may have one more. We do have Glenn Chesterton and Dennis H. We've had a few DNF, but these are drivers did not. He signed up and then just went. I spotted Mr. Carl Jones in there. I wonder what he's doing in the minute. I mean, it might be a bit embarrassed. I think, especially after reading chat and then being faced with the barrier last time out in Brazil. I don't think he could come back after it's a bit of an embarrassment. But that seems to be the end of it. We'll be back in 1 week's time, where the championship will then head to the brilliant Sebring circuit. The bumps of Sebring, the home of the 12 hours of Sebring. We'll see you in a week's time for that. So take care, everybody. We'll look after yourselves. Make sure to subscribe to Apex and Chill Racing. And we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Grid sync, green light, digital bleed. Clean lines, fast track, feeding the speed. No turn one chaos, just telemetry flow. Simulated asphalt, watch the data grow. High downforce chassis, neon in the night. Blue and black flicker in the pixel light. APEX and chill, holding the line with the digital skill. APEX and chill, racing for the team with the collective will. Discord community, shared setup gains. LMU circuits, breaking the chains. Paddock camaraderie, digital soul. Grinding for the glory, taking control. Find a new teammate, a bond in the wire. Find a new teammate, a bond in the wire. Technological heart, burning like fire.